In this episode of our podcast, we're going to talk about voice AI use cases because over the last couple of months, both of us have encountered many different use cases. And in general, for voice AI, there are so many different use cases, and it's very interesting to see what's possible. So we have both prepared different use cases that we've either thought of or have even already worked on. And in this episode, we're going to talk about those use cases. Max is going to start with the first one, then I'm going to do a second one, then he does the third one, I do the fourth one, and we'll go until we don't have any use cases left. So let's go.
Yeah, and the first and most important thing to say is that we will be listing these use cases from formal and actually useful to your business to slowly getting even more absorbed with each use case that we go through. And I believe that today the episode will be a lot of fun towards the end. So stick towards the end because we will truly be uh, showing off what our brains are truly capable of. So,
Some
all right.
crazy stuff.
Yeah, so let me get started with the first use case. This might seem quite obvious, and some of you might have also heard of this, but it's an abandoned cart saver for e-commerce businesses or dropshippers. The metrics for dropshipping or basically e-commerce in general are that 70% of leads that actually put something in their cart and also fill out the forms abandon their carts, meaning that only actually 30% convert after inputting their data into the form. And this is a huge opportunity to actually save many hundreds of leads and thousands of dollars for e-commerce businesses and for dropshippers.
Absolutely. So what you mean is someone puts something in their cart, let's say a pair of Nike shoes, and then they abandon their cart. And then after a minute or so, when the program sees, okay, this guy's actually not going to buy it, then they send a call. Call says, okay, hey, I saw you've put this in your cart, you abandoned it. I can give you a 10% discount. Would you like me to tell you the code? Yes. And then what the voice assistant can also send the link to the abandoned cart so that the person just has to click on it and not like do the whole thing again and then buy the item with 10% discount. I think that's an amazing one.
So the thing is that the AI itself won't have to wait because the actual thing is that a lead actually only gets classified as abandoned cart after like 10 minutes of not buying after filling out the forms. And this comes from the providers of Shopify. They have all built-in triggers. So we wouldn't actually have a need for the assistant to wait. There are multiple ways to actually kind of recoup and save the lead. This either can be through even more sales and more pinpointed sales, actually stressing the pain points, going over any objections, because that's actually what the assistant will be able to do. So it won't just serve as like a funny reminder, well, because that's what the email sequences already do that are built into these platforms like Shopify, for example. So they already have these workflows and email templates, but that's obviously weak because you still have 70% of leads missing, because if they put something in the cart, then the likelihood of them actually looking at their emails 1 second after, that won't happen. And this is why the call is so
Absolutely.
important, because it's an action. Come on, let's be honest. How many people, how many like consumer leads, not B2B, this is something completely different, actually read their emails? I mean, you could go over to your friends that don't have a business and look at their inbox. It's thousands of emails. Nobody's ever going to read your shitty e-commerce emails, especially if you're a dropshipper or something. But people will pick up their phone, especially when they're in the mood to buy. Because when do people buy? Well, it's mostly after work. They have some money to spend. They're in the mood. And maybe it was just one little thing that just didn't make them do the purchase, or they just kind of forgot or something. And now, if you call them, well, first off, they will actually pick up, and you will actually be able to contact them, unlike with email. And you can actually now work the lead actively. This is completely different with email. Email is just static. You just send out one thing and that's it. I really like this idea and I will love to implement it to even more e-commerce businesses. I already have a client and I will be able to, well, gain some useful insights from that, and then hopefully use that insight and put it into some other businesses, because that's what I'm actually like psyched about and interested about, because ultimately I want business owners to succeed, and e-commerce is one of the hardest niches. So let's help each other out.
That's really cool. So I'm sure there'll be lots of money made with this stuff in the next couple of months. Okay, so let's go on to the second use case, which is also very obvious. It's simply inbound customer support. Pretty much any important company with a few customers has a hotline where people can call and get some customer support. And voice AI can easily be used for this. It is going to be 24/7 available. It's always going to be very friendly. You can talk to us as long as you like. It's not going to be annoyed or anything. You can ask the dumbest questions, because sometimes, like, you just, if it's a real person and you have a really stupid question, you just don't want to ask it. If it's an AI, it totally doesn't matter. You can ask any question. It can speak multiple languages. So imagine you're in Brazil and you don't speak Portuguese and you want customer support from a company. Yeah, and you can call and you can speak German with it, and speak German perfectly, or English or whatever. That's also a game changer. It can be integrated into their system, so the assistant can trigger functions and do bookings or give you information or whatever. It can be via on the phone or over the web. So you can simply implement a button on the website so you can talk to the assistant over the web, so over your computer. It's also perfect. Um, you can also forward calls if the assistant doesn't know the right answer. So yeah, this is really limitless.
Yeah, that's really cool, because now you can also make like customer service accessible, either through the like this website widget or this embed, because most people, well, we are all getting lazier by the day, I would say, and we just do not want to pick up our phones, or we only pick up our phones if we actually have a real problem. And then it's still obviously important that every single like customer service inquiry gets actually caught. And this is a thing where AI will be able to help. So it won't completely replace um, customer service departments for now, especially not the second and third level. That's
Yeah,
obviously logical, but everything to do with first level, just catching and dispatching, those inquiries, that's what the AI can do and can massively aid in that. And for this, actually, I have a perfect case study, which is Klarna. And Klarna is a huge, really big, like billion-dollar, multi-billion-dollar payment processor similar to PayPal, which have gotten really big lately because they offer like these pay now or buy now, pay later
yeah.
offers or services. And so they just recently implemented actually a complete first level support made up of AI agents. The majority of first level inquiries are being taken over by this AI assistant. Here are the metrics for it. The AI assistant has had 2.3 million conversations, which is 2/3 of Klarna's customer service chats. Now, this is obviously a huge
Crazy.
number and a huge percentage, a huge chunk of the pie. And what it managed to do, the AI assistant actually is doing the equivalent work of 700 full-time agents.
Oof, that's crazy.
Now
That's
in
insane.
payroll, let me just quickly like get that for you. And this alone actually saves Klarna 1.4 million US dollars in payroll every month. Like, this is a huge and crazy amount. And the best thing is that it's not a stupid chatbot. It's not a bad solution. It's actually on par with human agents in regards to customer satisfaction score. And why would that be? Well, because they probably have built out an extensive logic behind the assistant. Most people selling you chatbots nowadays do not provide an extensive logic behind the scenes. So it's just like maybe a knowledge base, and that's it. So no extensive functions that actually can complete tasks. And this is where most people are lacking, but Klarna have mastered this in this case. And it is more accurate in errand resolution, which has led to a 25% drop in repeat inquiries. Now, that's also an amazing metric. So,
Nice.
and the customers were now able to resolve their errands in less than 2 minutes compared to what? Guess what?
I'm not sure. Compared to 7 minutes?
11 minutes
Wow.
previously.
That's,
Yeah.
that's such a no-brainer. This
Yeah.
stuff. Such a
I mean, that's
no-brainer, and I
awesome.
love
That's
it.
awesome. Because what does the AI have? If you have built out such an extensive knowledge base and not just like some cheap and quick solution, then, well, it has all of the knowledge that you could ever have available at the latency of like a chatbot call and an API call. So
Exactly, yeah. So
that's
there's not going to be the
so
very, very experienced customer support agent that knows everything, and then the intern on the first day doesn't know anything. That's not going to happen anymore.
as you've touched upon it, the AI agent is available in 23 markets, 24/7, and it communicates in more than 35 languages. And this just
Easy.
actually opens up the accessibility like endlessly.
Absolutely. Yeah, one thing that comes to my mind with this, with languages, is that in the UK, people have a UK accent. In the US, they have a US accent. In different states of the US, people have different accents, and for other countries, it's the same. So local businesses could employ those agents with their local accent, or global businesses, if someone calls from Bavaria, Munich, then it could have a bit of a different accent in German language than when someone calls from Hamburg.
Yeah, so it comes back down to personalization. I mean, how awesome is that? Now you have a previously boring customer service agent that is now personalized to you and knows stuff about you, knows your needs, and you don't really have to do much yourself. You just have to, here it hurts, and the AI knows where the problem is. And what it ultimately allowed Klarna to do is to drive a huge 40 million US dollars in profit improvements in this year alone.
I love this stuff. This is really amazing. But of course, the goal of it doesn't have to be to replace agents. It can also be just used to make the whole support better. So you
Yeah,
keep your employees, which I think is also a great approach. You keep your employees, but first level is an AI agent. So someone tells a problem, the AI agent can't answer, and then they write it in a CRM, the exact problem in high detail. Then the employee of the company reads this, already prepares the solution, and then calls back. That's also so much better. Also, second thing I want to notice is that you have your phone number and the company knows your phone number, and with your phone number the company has linked lots of detail and lots of information about you. So if you call from this phone number, the AI agent answering the phone is immediately going to know everything the company knows about you. So it's going to know your name, it's going to know what products you have, what problems you had in the past, your past conversations, everything. And this cannot be done with a real human, because a human is going to answer the phone and just simply not know who it is, and you have to describe, yeah, I'm this customer, and then what's your ID, whatever.
fun fact, I actually just made a video about this, what you said. For inbound calls, we use the phone number as a verifying ID for all the further
Nice.
data that we've logged for the customers or for the leads coming in. So this could be either for leads or for already existing customers. And the funny thing is, that was actually also the second point on my list. So
Okay.
maybe you will now have my third point as well. So um, it's kind of a mix, this one, but I just wanted to put a name on it, or a position basically in a company. So it's the reception desk, meaning that it's basically an inbound appointment setter and customer manager. And what it allows businesses to do is to, if you have an employee that works at your reception desk, this employee, if when it comes to like med spas, physicians, doctors, the employee is actually extensively skilled in other topics in your business. So having them sit at the reception desk all the time actually takes away from the work they could be doing elsewhere, especially when it comes to medical practices or like in the beauty medical niche. Then we oftentimes see that these businesses actually have their nurses do the reception. And the same is with vets as well. That just kind of takes away because a lot of people are waiting in the waiting room. They aren't getting served. They aren't getting appreciated because, well, your employees are stuck doing like paperwork or answering calls or calling people to confirm appointments. That's also a thing that I've seen. Like, why are people still doing this? Why do you have your qualified and like really good employee doing like these tedious tasks that you have to do every day?
So your the effectiveness of employees simply goes up, and
True.
that's
Yeah.
amazing. Probably also the how much your employees like working for you, because I'm pretty sure that doctors, they like working with patients, they like making people healthy, talking to people, connecting to people, and not just answering the phone all the time. So if you can take away this and they can use their energy and time in a better way, then that's also really valuable. So my next one is also similar to what we said already, but it's using this stuff in restaurants for
Okay.
taking orders and booking table. Because in restaurants, I really love this use case, because who doesn't know it? You call a restaurant, or you where you want to order some food or book a table, then someone answers the phone, and immediately you have incredible background noise, because they're standing in the middle of the restaurant, and there's the
Mm.
kitchen on one side and there's the tables on the other side, and it's just super loud and annoying. And if you're getting food at a Chinese restaurant, an Asian restaurant, and your
Mm.
language is not their first language, and some do it very well, but some aren't really good with that language. So if this can be done by an AI, then I think for the customer and for the person working there, it's just much better.
But I think like for the geeks under us that focus on like the AI being hyper realistic, then I guess that will be like the thing that they would be aiming for. Because for restaurants, they would make like an ultra like native sounding and with an accent AI that would pick up the phone, and they would enable the background noise as well for the AI. So
Of course, yeah.
I mean, obviously it will be performing better, and the the background noise is obviously not as loud as in the real scenario. But still,
Absolutely.
it's just
Yeah.
funny to think of the guys that are like focusing on this hyper realism thing with
Yeah.
those voice agents that now probably thought, well, that's what I built for my clients or built into my agents so that they sound realistic, so that I can hear like the restaurant in the background.
Absolutely. I didn't even think of it, but I mean, of course, like if you book a table in an let's say a Chinese restaurant, and then someone answers the phone in perfect English or perfect
Yeah,
German compared to Chinese
what you
accent.
what you
Like
expect,
this
yeah.
Chinese accent is actually nicer
So
because it's
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, so
Nice.
maybe you get like that connection. You get like this little trip to China or whatever restaurant you're calling, but then obviously a perfect like AI without even any sound in the background calls you with, and now it has
Nice. Nice.
sentiment
Nice.
analysis, so it can also sense your emotion. So depends on how much you over engineer the AI in the background. So that's actually a real cool use case as well. My next point would be a single point of contact or inbound dispatcher, meaning that you only have one public phone number available. So the leads only have to save one phone number in their address book. And this will be nice for government agencies or any businesses that still use old phone systems where every single employee has still their own phone number. That would be useful, that you don't actually give out these internal phone numbers, so that you now can filter the calls coming in. Because what VAPI allows you to do, especially, is that you can actually have all of your phone numbers that you would like to forward to in an array. I mean, you can stack them up as much as you like. You could load a bunch of numbers in there, assign them all, and now put those numbers into your prompt. And now the AI, the single point of contact, can actually filter and dispatch all of the leads to the necessary workers, employees, or departments that you want to forward to. So that's, I believe, a great use case, because now none of your customers will end up in the wrong department. And you also won't have to give out the specific phone numbers of each of your employees.
Nice, good one. Okay, I continue with the next one, which is now an outbound one. So far, we've talked mostly about inbound callers. Of course, we can also do outbound calls, and there's actually a super obvious one, outbound appointment setting. So a business calls other businesses and just tells them, okay, I can do this and this and this for you. I can offer you this. Would you like to book an appointment? Yes or no? And then book the appointment, kind of like a cold caller. B2C cold calling is not allowed in Germany and the US as well, as far as I know. I think it's allowed in India, from what I've heard, which is nice for the Indian people. In many countries, cold calling B2C is not allowed, but cold calling B2B usually isn't the problem. So
I would have to add one thing, that cold calling unopted in leads is illegal. Well, now what you can do is, upon an opt-in, you can actually commit an outbound call to the lead. So you're not just limited by inbound calls.
exactly. So yeah, opt-in. So you need, if you do B2C cold calling, you need an opt-in, but B2B, you don't need an opt-in, at least in Germany, and I'm pretty sure it's same for US. So it's enough if you have legitimate business interest, then you're allowed to contact them without opt-in.
So the laws in the US are generally, like, even with the B2C laws, are still like kind of weird. And there are like some kind of loopholes to go around it, because they are quite loosely like determined, these rules. But nonetheless, it's still that you have to be wary when it comes to doing outbound calls, especially to leads that, well, haven't opted in yet. And the thing that I would say is that using them as a like general like appointment setting role, I wouldn't say, because you do not now have the like problem of capacity with actual human appointment setters, because human appointment setters can only do like up to 100 calls a day, and that's obviously completely different with the AI, because it can do 10 a minute, I believe, or something like
Enough.
that. Yeah, something in that realm. And what I would actually want to use that for, if I were to implement it in the business, would be as a prospecting tool. It's not just selling right from the bat and trying to book appointments, but actually trying to get them into the funnel and to start nurturing them directly upon contact. So no talks of anything being sold, just providing free value at best, and just like informing the user, the lead, about your offer and that you actually and your services that you provide. So you do not have to make a pitch. So it's just a different approach that the AI allows us to have now. So to be just less salesy and to provide value first before asking for any back. And this actually kind of can go over into my next assistant, which would be an outbound qualifier. So this is really cool when it comes to niches like solar, where you have your in-person door knocking sales leads, but you obviously don't want to waste the time and you want to have them knocking doors as efficiently as possible. So the best thing is for them to get off the phone, have the AI call up all the leads that they have opted in, and now pre-qualify them, meaning that they find out necessary information about the house so that your sales leads and your sales team don't actually have to make the drive to the house and then just to find out that it's all overgrown, trees all around, and that would cost like $15,000 to just remove the trees. So then, of course, that will be a problem. That what the just aims to do is to make your sales team, your sales leads more efficient. It's resulting in the leads being qualified and already warmed up before your sales team knocks on the door, probably resulting also in higher sales, just thinking about it logically.
So I continue with my next use case, and this is a public sector hotline. So if you live in a city and you want to register a new address, or if you move somewhere else, or if you want to update your passport or whatever, there's so many things to do, then even me in my city, I often just call them because I don't know who to contact, where to go, because there's so many different places. Now, in different countries, there are always people who don't speak the native language. So in Europe, there are many Ukrainians at the moment, for example, and like it's difficult for them to, if they can speak either native language or English, and English might work better or worse. But if you have in the public sector, if cities or even the government has hotlines that can speak 30, 40, 50 languages, and that's just amazing. That would be a real game changer.
Yeah, and this actually ties into the point of the single point of contact use case
Exactly.
that I made before, because then again, you just have the single point of contact. It can figure out the language that you're using. It can also remember your number, maybe your name when you've called in the past, and then just be able to efficiently forward you and just like provide common FAQs to any questions that you might have in your specific language.
Exactly. Okay. Your next one?
My next one is also a qualifier, and that would be a recruiting qualifier. That means that wouldn't actually be like in any cold setting. It would be obviously warm, and and this might be like the first stage of qualifying like your employees. So it wouldn't be an interview, but it would just be like a general test, maybe something along the way. I haven't really thought about it yet, but what it could be just that you have the AI run like some kind of analysis of the answers post call, like how quickly the prospect answered. And the greatest thing about it is that it's live. So no, the AI would obviously notice, well, you ask a question and then the prospect takes 5 minutes to respond. Well, then they probably use ChatGPT or Googled. So it's always, yeah, so it's always nice to know and to already pre-qualify them before actually considering an appointment or an interview.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is interesting for companies that get like 1,000 people
True.
applying for one job offering, because they're not going to interview 1,000 people. So they're with an
No.
AI voice system. They can simply filter out many and then look who are the best 50 people and then interview them.
Yeah.
Why not?
So McDonald's,
Good use
if you're
case.
interested, hit us up. Our rates start from 50 million per assistant, so let's go.
McDonald's, or yeah, maybe some many other tech companies, Google, Microsoft,
Yeah.
Apple, they get
Well,
tons
I
of
mean,
tons of applications. Next one that I've got is an outbound one, which fulfills tasks for people. So two different use cases. You could have your own agent that calls a restaurant and orders food, because there are many people who don't really like calling people, calling places. You can simply create this assistant, and it's going to call the restaurant and it's going to order your pizza margarita to your address, which is good, and which would also allow you to avoid queues, because often if you call, like, let's say if you call bigger companies and you want to get an information and you have to wait 10 minutes. If you call an insurance, for example, you have to wait in a queue for 10 minutes. Yeah, the AI can wait in that queue for 10 minutes and then send you the information via email afterwards. So
So it's funny because now we are using like the next generation of phone technologies to take advantage of the old ones, like IVRs or these like pre-made answering machines. Yeah, so that's quite fun. And well, the AI only costs a couple of cents per minute, so we don't have to waste our precious time listening to the same music again that's like poorly cut, meaning that maybe you might be enjoying like the wait time music, and then it just you get reminded every 5 seconds that it's like that the guy who set it up cut it poorly, and then it like is not really enjoyable to listen to for 10 to 15 minutes.
I know, yeah.
Now with me, already like my a little bit crazy ideas and assistants start. So
Okay.
I've heard from you before the podcast that you have a little bit more assistants or use cases than me. So maybe let's quickly focus on the ones that are still a little bit more serious before we get into the fun stuff.
Okay, absolutely. Yeah. So I have two more, like three more serious ones, which is on a website. If you're selling a more complicated product or a product that needs some more explaining, then you can simply have a button on that website that you can click. Like it could be a hotline on the phone, but it can also be a button on the website that you can click on, and you can simply talk to it, ask the stupidest questions, whatever, like with a chatbot. So this would be good. Then another one that's quite similar to this is if you have applications and they're bit difficult, maybe programs with many different tabs and many functionalities, and it's just hard to use them, hard to understand what you do. Then inside of this program, you could talk to an assistant, and the assistant knows everything. So you could ask, okay, I want to do this and this, and then it's going to tell you, okay, so look on the top left of your screen here, you have this button, then you open this drop down menu, and then you select the seventh option, and then you go here, and then you click this, and yeah, like this, you can do what you want to do. I could even imagine something like this for PowerPoint, because all this stuff can be quite complicated, many sub menus. So if you can just talk to it, say, okay, I want my page numbers to start on the third page and not on the first one. I mean, I've had this before. It takes some time to find out how to do it. And if it tells you, yeah, this is how you click here and this and this and this, and then it works, that would be a game changer.
Well, my solution would be just don't use PowerPoint. Evolve and iterate and stop using PowerPoint. That's that's a simple answer from my side. But
Why
yeah,
not?
so obviously like you mean like a walkthrough assistance of either a website or a program. So yeah, obviously
Exactly.
that's very cool, and it would obviously also be hosted like in the program itself. I definitely see a use case for this.
Exactly. And it can even know what's on your screen, and it can
True.
highlight
Yeah,
buttons. It doesn't only have to be voice, it can be integrated very deeply into everything.
I've already seen this before, but I actually forgot the name of it. So that's kind
Okay.
of a bummer. But it wasn't with voice. That's what it wasn't. It was
Okay,
like
chat.
with a prompt. You would prompt it, and then it would just highlight things on the screen for you.
That's cool.
But I believe that you could actually, I believe, also automate your websites in that case, or programs. Turn on the voice feature, and then say, I want to create this, blah blah blah, or make me a headline on slide, blah blah blah. When it comes to PowerPoint, and then we'll just be able to do that for you via function calling or tool calling.
So I have one more serious use case, which
Yes.
is also a bit similar to the ones we had before, but it would be management assistance. So for CEOs in companies that are super busy, you could create those voice assistants. They can simply call it and ask it, what's going on in my company? What emails did I get? Please make a quick summary. And then it reads, okay, you've got this email. And then you can say, oh, yeah, please answer this person and tell them no, not, or please tell the person yes, do it. And then what's the next thing? What's the next thing? I know this stuff exists with chatbots, so you can text those chatbots, but voice is just much quicker and much more natural. So you can sit in your car, and the manager can manage the company and their team in the car, which you can't do with a chatbot.
Yeah, true. So what basically function calling allows us to do is to create almost every input that you could think of, or that's
Exactly.
possible to do over API calls, just via the control of your voice. So that's truly that. I mean, in that case, the possibilities are endless for that. So another thing that might be interesting is like for more a personal use case, people with disabilities that maybe can't use their arms or whatever, and then in that case they would just call up the voice assistant
Nice.
or like have it on ready to fire, just voice activated, and then they could just have a command like turn on the lights, which actually goes over to another personal use case, which would be an IoT assistant, meaning an Internet of Things assistant. You could control your toaster with it. You could talk to your fridge with it. So in general, it would just be able to communicate with every single device in your home that has
Nice.
an IoT accessibility.
So yeah, I've got that same point. I called it smart home management, but it's the exact same thing. A bit more crazy use case is language learning. You might
Mm.
have it too.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that unobvious, I'd say, but simply if you learn French and then you can talk to someone and that person speaks perfect French and then you speak with it and then it tells you, okay, this word you need to pronounce it like this. Please pronounce it like this, and it tells you to do this until you pronounce it correctly, and you can just have conversation with it. That's amazing. That's really amazing.
We've touched upon the actually vast and endless possibilities of utilizing voice AI. If you just take the time to actually figure out all the documentations of every single service that you're using and to put it together nicely, then what we would obviously end up with is JARVIS. And JARVIS just kind of encompasses everything, like your own personal appointment setter, account manager, whatever. Just hit it with every function call that you might have, meaning that you could book appointments for yourself, change appointments, turn on anything in your house, heat up the car, set reminders, download a thing, download that, open that, play this, play that, over the sound system. Basically anything that you can get your hands on where you can connect it in a single point or with the assistant, then that's possible. And that's what JARVIS does for you.
Nice, good one. Your own Jarvis, that would be amazing. It's the perfect use case because it can actually talk and actually understands you. Nice one. So the next one I have is, in general, integrating voice AI with computer vision. So you have your phone and you hold your camera. With your camera, you show what you see, and then you can talk with the assistant, and the assistant knows what you see. And there are so many
Mm,
opportunities for this. So,
mm.
for example, you walk through a city and there's an interesting building, and then you hold the thing towards the building. It sees the building and it just tells you something about it. That's great. Or you can show it, okay, I've got this problem. I'm stuck here. I don't know what to do. Here, this is what I'm doing right now. And then tells you. People can use it for their homework. You say, okay, I've written down this. What am I missing? That's also really good.
Yeah, true. So basically, like a Google Lens or even the Apple Vision Pro integrated with that,
Exactly.
which
Yep.
I believe will actually be coming soon because GPT 4.0 just came out recently, and we also have the announcement or the rumors coming up that now OpenAI and Apple will actually be working together on an assistant to replace Siri. So I believe that that will definitely happen, and this will definitely be inside of your iPhone in the next couple of months or years. I believe that it will be sooner than later, but we'll have to see on that. But yeah, you could use this for many different use cases, either to have like a live walkthrough of the city if you're using maybe Google Maps or Apple Maps with some AR features, meaning that you have like arrows in the air, like in a video game and stuff. If you are using the AR goggles that just enhance your vision, or even like for more boring use cases, like when it comes to safety screenings for companies, just running around the space, the office with a tablet, and the AI scans it and
Mm.
looks like for any dangers, or even on a work site where you have to
Nice.
document stuff. That you just point the camera at it, and you just talk with the AI, and maybe the AI already knows whatever that is, or you just quickly explain it to it, and then it can document it already, and you always do this all over voice. You no longer have to write long documents or reports. The AI does it all for you because it just show it what it needs to know, and then your report will be,
Absolutely.
created by an LLM in the background.
Absolutely. Or imagine you're wearing smart glasses with a camera and you're riding through a city on your bike and you don't want to look at your phone all the time, and then
True.
the glasses know where you are, they know what you see, and then the glasses can, like, you best bring headphones and they say, okay, see, if you look forward a bit and then to the right where that red car is driving right now, please go in there, and then turn to the left, or oh, watch out, this the light's turning red, please stop here, or please go to the sidewalk here. That would be amazing. And it can even be integrated with augmented reality, because your glasses could
Yeah,
also
that's what
show
that's what I
you.
meant. Yeah.
That's what you meant, yeah, because to show you, and it can also talk with you via voice. So crazy. Okay, let's see what my next one is going to be. It is a motivation coach. So
Mm.
imagine a service that allows you to set goals. So let's say your goal is, I want to go to the gym every day, or I want to do sports every day. And then an assistant calls you every single day
Mm.
asking you, did you do sports? Did you eat healthy today? What did you eat? Did you go to the gym? And it just motivates you, because then you know,
Yeah.
okay,
So
if I don't do sports today, then this assistant is going to call me, and I'll have to tell it, oh no, no, I didn't, I was too busy. Yeah, and then this assistant can have a very motivating voice. It can have like the Rock's voice,
or it can be
David
David Goggins
David Goggins.
screaming,
That's what I
screaming,
want to say.
yeah, screaming at you 24/7 because you cloned his voice. So
Yeah,
stay
amazing.
hard, stay hard.
Or imagine instead of using your alarm, David Goggins calls you in the
Yeah,
morning and you wake up with this. You answer the phone, and he tells you, "Bro, like get up now, do some
yeah,
push-ups."
yeah,
Nice.
yeah, like a personal accountability agent
Exactly. Yeah.
in your pocket or in your headphones, wherever. Yeah, so this kind of like goes over into my next use case that I had, which is a personal therapist.
Nice.
Because we've recently like seen Hume AI come out, and it would just be like maybe not directly a replacement for a therapist, but it would be more just for like mood logging. Maybe some people are having like a downer, and then they could just subscribe to that app, and then there would be like daily calls, just catch up calls going over the day. And then Hume could in the background basically analyze like your voice, how you're feeling, and based on that, maybe like a half an hour conversation could try to bring your mood up through like some pinpointed um, actions, what it might think of, what it might come up with, fitting the current scenario. Like if you're depressed, maybe try to lighten you up and stuff. And what Hume would just be used for is that it would just realize your current mood and then try to uplift it in this half an hour conversation or whatever that might be. And this is just like for continuity. So just to keep like track of, maybe also for therapists themselves to have like this custom chatbot to just keep track of your patients across the board, meaning that you would have you would have these mandatory daily calls for monitoring, and then you could see in your system maybe like, oh, this patient is doing really bad currently, so let's call him up physically as well, or let's get him into an appointment real quick because they might be like in a bad situation right now and we need to help them out immediately. And you could be able to see this over like a long period of time through like extensive data analysis, and maybe also recognize some patterns in the humans' lives and start fixing their lives. Maybe it's some person that they're meeting. They can just say, oh, today I've met Sarah and I feel really shit. So then the AI would just know, well, you over the last 3 months you've been doing all right, but when you met Sarah, you just kind of got really upset at that point. So maybe stop calling Sarah or something. So yeah, so it would just like be able to be like an outsider perspective on your life and start to improve your life slowly but surely. So that would be just a huge aid actually for a therapist. I would say that this would also like increase like your healing score, or if you want to call it that, as a therapist. Well, if that's in your intention as a therapist, because you obviously make money off sick people, so there could be just a thing right now that I've uncovered, but that's, I believe, a whole another topic.
And this, I've had this one too. It goes hand in hand with animated faces of people. So usually when I talk
Yeah.
to a therapist, it's important to actually talk to a real person. So the therapist could take a photo of themselves and then they can, or a quick video, and it can animate your face. So and the therapist can clone their voice and clone
Mm,
their face via videos. So if you talk to it on your screen, you see the person and their head is moving and their lips are moving as they speak, and they show emotions and yeah. So this would go voice and voice goes hand in hand with this technology.
yeah, but I wouldn't say that this with the face stuff is at this point right now. I definitely wouldn't say that because it's still like really like uncanny, and I think that would just turn the whole vibe off. So I just
Of
think that
course.
for now, maybe just like some kind of icon, just some like cool graphic, maybe like a calming graphic, that's like repetitive, like
Why
something
not?
cool.
Absolutely. But I'm sure it's in the future it's going to get much better. I've even seen
True.
some cases in which it worked very well. However,
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's actually AI generated
No, it's
or if
not
people have
live.
helped, have edited
No, no,
it
it
afterwards.
is actually like HeyGen is really good, but it renders like for
It's
an
not
hour, so
live.
it's not
I
live.
see. Okay. So yeah, okay. Would
Yeah,
need to be
but
render
it's
live, of course.
so how many do you have left? Where are we at now?
So I've got left one,
One.
two, three, four, five. Some of
Oh,
them are similar to your use cases, not all of them. How many
okay.
have you got left?
I still have one, but I want this is the best one, and I want to save it for to be the last one. And I
Okay,
think that
great.
everyone should actually anticipate this, but we'll see towards the end.
All right, then I also go from, I also save up my crazy ones for the end. This would be great for video games, so that you can interact with characters inside of the video game, especially video game NPCs. Because imagine you're walking through a world
Hmm.
like Sims or something, and you can just talk to the person. It's an actual an AI, and you can really talk to it and remembers your conversation. So this is something cool, something that I've also seen in the past. Then clone a real person, similar to what we've talked about before, but doesn't only have to be for therapy, it could also be for people that are just very knowledgeable. So if you have a
Yeah,
person that's lots of experience in, I don't know, construction work or architecture or something, and they find themselves doing coaching calls and giving people the same information over and over and over again, then they can just clone their voice and, or even not clone their voice, use a different one, but just write down everything they know and everything that's interesting in a knowledge base, and then an AI can answer the same questions and tell the same stuff.
yeah. So the cool thing for that would be actually like sending out personalized looms, meaning that you could have in like a web scraper AI scrape certain informations about a lead, collect all the necessary informations, however extensive you want to do that, and then like kind of form a personalized offer or a personalized like loom. Run the transcript either through like a text to speech provider, and then have it generate the video with HeyGen based on the transcript, and just merge these together, and then you have like your personalized loom.
Next thing I have is shopping assistant,
Mm-hmm.
either online or even in a real store. So the either items have a QR code maybe, and you scan the QR code, and then you can speak with it, and you can ask, okay, this dress, where was it manufactured? Who manufactured it? How do I wash it? How much does it cost? Whatever. Just a
Mm.
shopping assistant that gives you, or in a car dealership, you don't like, you can just talk to the AI, and the AI knows everything that the dealer knows and even a lot more. So you can just put the whole fucking car manual in there.
Mm.
That would also be cool. One thing that I just made up as we were speaking in a car, huge car manual, just have it a voice AI. You can hit the talk button inside of your car and you can talk to it. I know this stuff, some of it already exists, but not really conversational. So that's
No,
also
no,
a
of
thing.
course. Yeah. So the point with all of this is like that it's actually like live and conversational, so that you don't have to sit there and actually prompt out like a whole message to the chatbot to actually get a useful message, because otherwise it's most likely just like a list and a summary, not actually a real pinpointing of the problem and a real solution. And the voice AI could just be a natural way to actually approach your problems and to find a solution, through all of the vast knowledge that a knowledge base or database might entail. That's where the difference is between voice AI and like those usual chatbots.
Exactly, because voice AI is really conversational, and those chatbots, they might transcribe what you said, then look, like, create the embedding of it, look in a vector database, get back the answer and read it, but it's then not really conversational. So voice
Mm.
AI is definitely a level above that. So the next more fancy one is a social interaction coach. So many people are very excited when they have to do interviews, because they know, okay, I'm going to be here and I'm going to talk to this person. I have to be very professional, and I still need to be nice, and I still need to be likable, and I need to leave a good impression. And it's great to practice this stuff. So you can practice your interview at Apple or Google or McDonald's, whatever. You can practice it with AI, with voice AI. So you can do this interview and you can talk it as long as you want, and then the AI analyzes what you say and gives you a score. So you were this good, and but you didn't sound very, you sounded a bit too robotic, a little bit boring maybe, and then you can do it again and again, and you can just become very good at interviews. Same thing for presentations in school. If you do have to do a presentation and you're super excited and you don't really know how it's going to go, then you can just practice this with AI, and AI can even ask questions, like you give it a presentation and then it thinks of questions as you talk, and then it asks you those questions, and you just become very sovereign, so very solid at doing this stuff this way. This is really amazing. Also, the whole niche of talking to girls, how to speak with girls, how to approach them, how to be funny, how to not be weird. I know there are many people who struggle with this a little bit. So could also be used for this.
To the point of these presentations, because if you are a student, then well, your parents won't be able to like critique you or anything constructively, because it will say, hey, you sounded great, yeah. But then like if you made a content mistake, then they won't be able to help you. So it's great to have like an expert AI being able to control and correct your answers during your presentation, or just generally keep track of it, and then be able to give you like a full report at the end of it. So that will obviously be like much better than asking like your friends and family that don't know anything about the current subject that you are learning or that you are making a presentation for. And yeah,
Absolutely. Or the
and
company
now
you're interviewing, whatever.
yeah, true, yeah, there are many use cases for that, of course. And now for the final one, I've already hinted at it, and I guess because I believe that we have gone through every single possible one but this one, and you've just actually hinted at it a little bit. And I would just quickly want to request a drum roll for that, because the last assistant, the last use case is your personal AI girlfriend. And now this is actually the secret reason why we all are actually so invested in this, because we just want to develop the best AI girlfriend. That's our secret motivation. So we don't actually want to help businesses. We just want to reduce the latency as much as possible so that we have the best responding AI girlfriend.
100%, yeah.
Yeah, that's obviously what it all amounts to. That's like the tip of the iceberg, tip of the pyramid, tip of the spear. Yeah. So I mean, this is, I guess we could talk. This could be a whole episode for itself. In the sense of how you make it emotionally, how what it would say, what stuff you like, and whatever it can be. It's just wherever your mind goes, wherever your sick and depraved mind goes, that then your AI girlfriend will also go with it, because it's fully customizable. So I guess that will be the pinnacle of AI, I would say. And then yeah, get ready for your Blade Runner girlfriend, Ana de Armas, your hologram. That's also coming, so don't worry. You know, the voice will be the hardest part, making it so realistic, but we're working on that, as I've said. You know, so the only thing missing will be the hologram, but with Apple AR vision, that will also be solved.
That's not a problem. Nice. Yeah, of course, this is a very obvious one. I'm sure we're going to see a lot of this stuff in the future. I'm personally not a big fan of this, so I won't really get involved in it, but very obvious that this is absolutely going to be done.
The question is not if you personally are involved in it or like it. The question is if you like money or not. So that's obviously always the biggest motivating factor, because I believe a lot of people will be jumping on that just solely for that reason. And if you are interested in doing this, hey, reach out to me. I like these like weird use cases, and it doesn't actually have to be an AI girlfriend, but if it's just something completely out of the box, or if you've had something come up, a thought of yours, an idea, a use case that we haven't covered in this episode, then just feel free to comment. Feel free to tell it us in via the DMs, join our Discord server, and whatnot. We want to hear everything, every idea that you have from you, and we also want to work with you if you are motivated and have those really cool ideas. But before we finish it off, I would just want to touch upon one single thing, is that lately we have been disappointed by a company that has been hyped up over the last couple of months, which is Rabbit. Rabbit AI, Rabbit R1. They have promised us big things with, like this voice AI gadget that could do anything for you. Well, it turns out that it's obviously, it's a fluke. It's a scam. Sadly, the founder has like a weird past with NFTs and another scam involving $20 million or so. So, and now he just, raised 30 million for Rabbit. But as it turns out, every single tech YouTuber hates it. And this kind of like brought up the idea to maybe actually rebuild it ourselves, to actually have a real Rabbit R1 do stuff for you. Again, just like as we have hinted on it, it would be more like a JARVIS, because we have like the separate use cases and the separate abilities of the voice AI and tasks that it can complete. That's already there. The only hard part is now to actually piece them all together and have them function all properly under one assistant. So if that's the thing you want to see, then definitely, you know, you would have to spam the comments for that, because that's like a real huge undergoing. Because it's not that easy. You know, even with $30 million raised, you know, they did manage to do it. So
Still does work. Absolutely, yeah. No, that's a good one. Yeah, it can be rebuilt on your phone. Like, we're not going to build an external device that no one really wants to use anyways. Who wants to have like two phones or whatever in their pocket? No, you
yeah,
already have one phone, and it's more than better than what anything else that you could stick in your pocket apart from this. Absolutely. All right, so that's a very interesting thing you mentioned there. Also for the use cases, we've talked about many different use cases. I'm sure there are more. I'm like 100% we didn't think of every single use case. I'm sure that there are many more. I actually personally know some more use cases, but I have signed NDAs, so I can't disclose them right now. But it shows that there is more stuff. So if you know another use case, then please let us know in the comments. We're very curious to see whatever crazy stuff you can think of, or if you can think of more crazy stuff than we could. That would be great to know. Also, as you already mentioned, Max, we work with this stuff. So if you're interested in building some great AI voice assistants for any of those use cases or even a different one, then feel free to contact us.
yeah. With that, I would say that we have quite stretched this session out today, and to not bother you any further today, we would just sign off right now and wish you a happy evening, happy morning, whenever you're watching this. Maybe on the phone, maybe on the toilet, whatever. Um, I guess we will see us again. Hopefully in the shorts, hopefully in the Discord, wherever you find us, we will be there. You know, we are keen to answer any of your questions if you have any, and you know, we are always you know, open for reach outs and if you just want to talk about AI or voice AI. So thank you for
Absolutely.
watching, and
See you in the next one. Thank you.
yeah, bye bye.